watching on the watch party thing. Should I be watching on Twitch?
No, that's just to do a mic check because Twitch will record it and then I'll export it to YouTube and you'll have it for posterity at that point.
Nice.
All right. Welcome, everybody. My name is Valk. I am doing a replay review here for Johanna. The name of the player is The. So we are going to be saying the word the or the a lot. But here we go. We're on Shire. Before we actually unpause, just to quickly look at the comps. So we have a tank, a bruiser, a melee assassin, and a ranged carry in Tassadar. We have the most busted healer in the game currently, Rhaegar. The other team has Varian, Asmo, Leeming, Raynor, and Brightwing. They can't really stop us from moving at them. Varian is very single target. Brightwing's very single target. Now we'll see if she takes Emerald Wind at 10. I've watched a little bit of this game, but by no means finished it. But Brightwing can't polymorph Butcher while he's charging, and she has to pick between Butcher and Sonya and Joe and Rhaegar, all of whom do a ton of damage. And their team is going to have a lot of trouble accessing our Tassadar because he can sit back, he can snap clear waves, and can provide a lot of slows. They don't really have a diver anyway, Varian being the closest. They're more of an artillery comp, and so if we can get up in their face, which we have the tools to do between things like Iron Skin, Ancient Spear, even to go to Heroics, Falling Sword, and Leap, as well as things like Butcher's Ruthless Onslaught. So we've got the tools to close the distance, and so we want to be looking for that win condition. Now they have a very classic combo in Varian Li Ming. Varian taunts somebody, Li Ming unloads her full combo at it, and that can be a lot of trouble for us. But we've got the health pools to deal with it. So long as we don't take a lot of chunk damage before going in, Li Ming really can't pop anybody. And with Joe against Raynor, we have the ability to remove his damage through blinds for a period, so we shouldn't be taking that chunk damage. I haven't again watched through this whole thing, so a lot of this is going to be rather raw, but we also have Bobinski and Imerica in the chat here, so you can see up the top left corner on my overlay, it's showing their names. And so Imerica is the player, Bobinski is the Sonya in here, and so they'll be able to pause and ask questions. We are going to stay pretty locked on the Johanna this whole game, but that doesn't mean we can't break off if necessary. But here we go, now that we've had that 3-minute intro. All right. So first off, level 1 Laws of Hope. So we want to make sure we're just using that constantly. It's a 40-second cooldown, and we want to get as many globes as we can. Every 10 globes increases the healing by 5%. So 20% healing to start. Late game, you can have points where you're getting a 50% heal off of this. So right here from a macro perspective, we know the other team has a lot of damage in Ming, Asmodan, Raynor. We just want to do, and you'll hear me refer to this a lot, as the idea of stick and move. We hit the wave, we clear the wave, and we just move forward and get the macro advantage. The question we constantly want to ask ourselves is the idea of what is my purpose of being here, or what am I getting out of it? You know, Heroes is a game of microtransactions. That sounds a little silly to say, but we want to just constantly get a little bit more than our opponent, and we're making positive trades. Now, the fact that we just got 2 kills is a little silly. We really shouldn't have this early in the game, but that's our opponent's misplaying. Now, I want to go back and look at one thing here. So you'll see that we get a really good engage on the Asmodan. So right here, as soon as we scoop the Asmodan, and apparently we're going to have Butcher running constantly in my headset until I unpause, But as soon as we scoop him, we want to start moving to Asmodan's left. I should ask, can you guys see my cursor?
No.
You can't see my cursor at all?
No.
Okay, so how about now with a drag?
Yes.
Okay, so we want to be on Asmodan's left here, blocking his ability to get either to the bushes above or to the gate beyond. Okay, we're going to unpause, especially once we hit him with the slow. Now we get the kill, so no big deal. But it's taking those things and learning from them when we're safe so that we can do the right thing again later and convert that micro win into a larger lead. So we finish the wave and we just get out of dodge. Now right here, I don't actually think that Joe should be camping. You want Butcher to get meat, and so you want Butcher and Joe to just be rotating and trying to get as much as you can. Rhaegar has just as good of camp clear as basically anybody in the game short of like Hogger. And so you want him on this camp so that you can minimize the time that Johanna and Tassadar are out of lane. We want to here, we've got a wave crashing, and so we split. If it was communicated, great. We're about to take Eternal Retaliation, and I had messaged Bo about this a little bit earlier, but I don't see that we actually use it. So you can see here on these minions, the little yellow shield marks. So it matches the design on Johanna's shield. It actually used to come off of a shield glare talent Sins Exposed, and they kept that asset in the game and moved it to Eternal Retaliation. Now, if we read the tooltip on Eternal Retaliation, mark enemies hit with Condemn for 10 seconds. Johanna's next basic attack against them removes the mark, lowering the cooldown of Condemn by 1 second, refunding 10 mana, and one-shotting minions. Now, it doesn't one-shot mercs, that would be OP, but if we melee one of these, we get the cooldown reduction and we get the mana return. If we don't melee them, we don't actually get anything. And so I was noticing earlier that we were kind of acting as if this was the old Eternal Retaliation that just procced without any further requirement from us. So right there, Raynor got away because we were both on his right, and he walks the same speed as we do at this point. So when we stun him, when we slow him, is when we want to get on his left to be able to get in there. Enemy teams on top left camp. I like the idea to just push here, but right here, these 3 minions, that's 30 mana and 3 seconds off of your cooldown that you could have back. So Condemn is only 50 mana. You would have had enough mana back that it essentially would be free at that point, just off of those 3 minions. But we keep using Condemn, which is great. We should keep using it. But if we're going to take the level 4... I didn't see it, but Sonya died because Sonya went in on their camp, presumably alone. Camps don't do enough that we ever die for them. We if we're together with our team and we're turning it into a fight, great. But if we just know they're on the camp and we can clear it, you probably would have got more experience by just soaking top lane during that time and then clearing the camp solo. So right here, we had a prime time to use Condemn because 6 or 7 minions were up. So right there, we did auto attack the Varian. Unfortunately, our Rhaegar, the Escobel, sent that really well placed. Rhaegar should have juked up above you so that you took the shot without it impacting on Rhaegar. So right here, all 4 of these minions, if we auto attack them, they stop shooting our wall, we get mana back, we get CDR. I like Eternal Retaliation to an extent. I take Subdue. I'm very practiced in using it, so I don't take Eternal Retaliation very much. I really liked the old version. So right here, even these 4, we just melee them, get them back. The problem here for us is Ming is sitting up here just bombarding our poor butcher until he dies. So he doesn't really have a prayer there. We're also outnumbered. Um, this is going to sound really stupid how I say this, but Heroes is also a game of just counting. If the numbers aren't in our favor, we just leave. Right here, I would have liked you to take those 2 globes. We knew they went down here, and so we were relatively safe, but we just want to stack the globe count as much as we can, and anytime they're going to give us their globe for free, globes are 11% health each, so that would mean that we were 22% healthier, and we had another 2 stacks on Laws of Hope, which is fantastic. So right here again, and I'll stop talking about this, but this is a bunch of free mana and a bunch of cooldown. That I think it was just mainly a matter of not really understanding how the talent affected your basic ability, and so now as you know that, I like the use of ults here. We got 10, we just ran at him. He's dead. Like, he can't survive this. Yeah. Now, I hope that you hit Laws of Hope just as soon as it comes up here. Perfect. Now, from a macro sense, anytime that we kill someone, we need to assess and see if we're healthy enough to push. If we are, we need to push, because again, it's a game of these micro transactions, if you will, and that is, hey Alpharak, that is, anytime we get something, we want to get full value out of it. And so if we get a single kill, we want to turn that kill into a cannon tower. If we get a double kill, we want to turn that into a fort. We often can take camps on the retreat. So if these camps were up and we got a double kill, we take down the I'm using my cursor and you can't see my cursor. So if we got a double kill here bottom and this camp here was up, we would just take the fort and then retreat through. Wow, that scrolled way faster than I expected.
You know when it's really laggy? It's like real choppy.
Probably because I'm streaming to both, and let's see, I can probably close some stuff here. Yeah, I'll turn off the Discord streaming. You'll still have the Twitch, and you can still ask questions through it.
Okay, I'll watch the Twitch.
So hopefully that cleans it up. Probably just means I need to restart my computer. Oh. Oh, there we are. Sorry. I turned around and checked on the family, and I lost myself for a moment there. So a nice thing about Shire is because of how it's set up, we don't have to control all 3 points. We have to control one of the 3. If we can't control bottom and top, we just control middle and don't let them cap. And as the aggressive team, if we hold both bottom and top, then we just force the enemy to react in some way. Alright, we get a kill on Asmodan. Butcher's coming up to clean. Ooh. So right there we autoed her and got the CDR. But if we've got somebody dead, we want to push the objectives somehow. And that may, or push the advantage somehow. And there's all sorts of ways to do that. That was a good escape. Yeah, and just spam Laws of Hope when you take it. Now I will say right now, Zealous Glare feels kind of busted. Butcher's problem there is that he stood still. He gave Ming a really easy target and she just used it. Good jump on the Raynor. Raynor dies. We can stay on him. He dies. We started to move left. That's good. So right here we got a kill, but we're worried about Asmodan Siege and the Dragon Knight. Yeah, he dies. But we might lose midpoint because Sonya doesn't have any range. Oh. So right there, that just felt a little bit like the team was behind if there was a call. And I would actually say it's still Sonya's job to go and stop Asmo. But we get a kill. We now have a potential. Oh, he unfortunately clicked a minion. Yeah, Butcher. That was an unfortunate click. If he had just hit the Varian instead. Just a second. Sorry about that. I had a client call me and wish me a Merry Christmas there. So, which is very flattering.
Nice.
So, okay. Unpause here. We actually probably could have killed the Joe there, or the Ming, but I'm okay with just the walkout. So right here, just collect the mana. I realize you're not doing bad on mana, but even just the point there is probably more the cooldown reduction and the wave pushing. Our Dragon Knight should be free clearing this fort and then charging their way out if they need to. I like that we're up 16s. We want to fight here. Tassadar comes down. We're going to land on the Brightwing. Ooh, big punt, but he gets out. At this point, I think you almost let him go if you can, but I worry for the old Tassadar. Yeah, he's dead. Sonya spinning away. Ooh. So right now, the level 4, and this is my last time talking about it, is feeling a bit like a dead talent. I think that you would get more value out of hold your ground. Just having the little bit of cooldown reduction, but the 40% larger shield is big. Now, yes, Varian took Shattering Throw, so it might just get deleted, but ooh, great silence. Great just push R and kill the guy. Impudent punk. The bad news is we are leaving the camps unattended, but really we should have Tassadar in here cleaning this. We should have Sonya cleaning top, and Butcher, Joe, and Rhaegar just rip down mid fort, bottom fort, whatever. Instead, Tassadar's taking a camp. So we a rule that I'll give you: we don't take camps when we're ahead on numbers. Period. End of story. The only reason we take a camp is if it's already dead and we just have to cap it up numbers. Or if the team fight was there, we won the team fight, we just stick with it. Oh, see, and that would have been a 6 subdue too. Great push R. Sadly, Tassadar is getting toasted. The Ming is playing very well this game. I would say that I don't feel bad for you guys as far as you're not playing poorly against her. She's just playing well. Good use of Laws of Hope. You're out. I didn't watch the cooldown there if you had Iron Skin first. But see, they killed you and they ripped down this fort. They're going to be able to go bottom and take that fort or take mid keep wall. Okay, it looks like they're opting to cap, but Asmodan alone should be sieging this down. 2,000 health on a structure is nothing to Asmodan. He should just be ripping it down. Yeah, now he just orbs. Okay, his minions even finished it. Asmo messed up there. He had orb off cooldown and 2 people bunched. He should have just dunked you guys. All right, so we're ahead to 19 or ahead to 20, excuse me. At this point, we don't want to fight them yet. Again, they're triple assassin. We want to get 20. We don't want the risk idea of losing somebody right here is too great. Now we're 20, we just run at them. Sadly, Bo didn't get the memo. Now Sonya's calling for retreat. We could still possibly take this fight just with how busted. Well, did Butcher take the right 20? Yeah, just with how busted Butcher and Joe's 20s are, we could have probably won the 4v5. But imagine if we were 5v5 and up a major talent tier with how busted those are. We could have potentially ended the game. Oh, someone's going to die. Maybe even 2 someones. Well, at least one of their someones died too. I hope Rhaegar gets out. They're going to cap the dragon. Yeah, the best thing you can do right now is just stay safe. You got 5 seconds more for Sonya. If they get that camp, fine. We can defend the camp. We can defend the dragon. They're not going to end the game. But now that we're 20s, like, we just want a death ball around. Butcher is stacked. We have Lamb of the Slaughter. Like, our team fight is busted right now. Yeah, Rhaegar got too close. Next time we want to use Falling Sword as soon as we see Rhaegar get taunted, and just try to use Heaven's Fury's healing to keep him alive. He took Vigilance. I so rarely take Vigilance. Tassadar is actually a reason to take Vigilance because of how fast he auto-attacks in standard form. Great damage. Cooldowns to 20 seconds. Yeah, this we can still defend. We really want Butcher to get out alive. And jump. As soon as it's up, jump. No! Dang it. Oh, Butcher just got that kill. Nice. Sadly, he melted to the Ming. Yeah, I suppose we can move around while Joe's dead. It'll block my camera movements a little bit, but... So right here, maybe? Yeah. I'm surprised at these numbers here because I feel like Ming has been doing so much of the murder. Um, Asimo died on the Bridge of Death. That was dumb. Unfortunate for Tassadar. He got chopped to death by a couple of axemen. Alright, Joe is back up. We're going to hit 0. There we are. In case you're wondering, 1 through 5, 6 through 0 on your hotkeys for the replays. I get that confused a lot, but it goes from the inside, middle, to the outside. Yeah, Butcher, let's see. Yeah, he just slams waves right now, and so it makes it harder for us to get Eternal Retaliation value. So right there, as we approach that bush, we didn't really know where they were. I would have loved for you. Oh, this is great. Come on, Butch, lamb to the slaughter them. Yes. Great work. I would like for you to have used shield glare or flashlight on the bush as you walked into that, because we didn't know necessarily where they were. Now Butcher's doing what we would call bringing the wave, which is fine, but after that, like, he just needs to be here sieging. Now he's trying to get the cap, which is fine, but the amount of damage that he does, so if we click on you right now, you do 240 or 234 damage. He does 558. So his auto attacks are somewhere to the realm of 2.5 times as powerful as yours. Tassadar's cleaning, I get it. He's maintaining the waves. Butcher gets a kill. He just added another 10 damage. That's great. But his siege potential late game is silly. Like, people don't give him credit. Okay. Good job blocking. I want you to just kill this fort on the way, Bo, because it's just so low. 3,000 health, you breathe on it, you hit it a few times, no problem. But you just hit that and keep moving down. I don't mind the call to go bottom, that's fine, but either one would have been fine. There's not enough damage into this wall that it really matters. But we wanted to take out mid so that there wasn't as much of a disparity as far as the catapults. Unfortunate there. Laws of Hope just came off. Let's see. Healer's here. Healer has everything but a heal. Healer didn't have cleanse either. Oh, maybe they did. Cleanse is up here. I was looking at Ghost Wolf. Healer had cleanse. So you can see there's Purge's cooldown. So unfortunately your Rhaegar just wasn't experienced with Purge. Otherwise he could have saved you there. But as soon as Joe dies, we just gotta split. Because otherwise this very thing is gonna happen. Nice use of Mystical Spear. Nice use of Totem to help the team get out. Good news is Butcher makes short work of that, and they're so caught up on you, he'll even cap it and get out. But it was a risky play that wasn't necessarily worth it. Now, he's got Lamb to the Slaughter up again, and it's Slaughterhouse at 20, so he has all sorts of potential. Oh, please tell me you didn't use Slaughterhouse. He didn't. Unfortunately, you can't stop all of this damage because they explode when they die. Blizzard's nerfed that damage a few times. I don't mind this because it's relatively safe and they just lost Asmodan. We had a reasonable expectation that they were down here, and if we had, for example, Rhaegar can do a lot of his siege damage just by putting Lightning Shield on the Butcher. Alright, now we're following Joe again. And then Rhaegar could be watching for an invade. Oh, Bo. Oh, Bo. Great reset. We're down to 20 seconds. No one's died yet, but we've now split their team. Drop it, Butcher. Oh, Butcher should have tossed out Slaughterhouse there just to see if he could get somebody or at least force the Ming away. Okay, so right here we just killed one. Another one's coming up. I don't mind the call for shrines, but we need to be on the shrines as soon as they activate. This camp just ain't worth it. Oh man, they let you get way too much value there. You're doing a great job of warding by being in this bush, or this choke, excuse me. The enemy team can't really get into your team, so I really like that. It 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 made it so that that was a choke that was very difficult for them. Just get in, yeah. Bottom is now the lowest, so that is the correct call. You did want to breathe on this wave just to negate its push. So before they show, you actually pause right here as the rear guard is Joe, because they're not going to come in and just melt the dragon, right? But if they come behind and pop your Tassadar, that might be a problem. Butcher, turn, Slaughterhouse this. Come on, Butch. Yes, Slaughterhouse is beyond busted. He's going to time out. That was the best placed wall in the entirety of Heroes. Right there. All right, I know I said that this was primarily about the Johanna, but since you're here, Sonia, you have leap up. Right here, they're going to clump. So they're kind of laughing at the Butcher, and they clump. You just jump on that clump instead of trying to spin. You just cancel spin and leap on them. Now Tassadar is chunked. We can't really engage. Butcher had an angle that would have been pure glory. Again, camps do less and less the later we get into the game. Camps are great when an objective's pushing in another lane, but we don't want to split here. Oh, this should be murder all the way around. 1, 2, 3. It'll be 4. We just have to make sure Ming doesn't destroy all of us. We just run at the core. Just run at the core. We would rather lose the game trying to end than lose through passivity because we didn't take our shot. Alright, so we get on it. Butcher just needs to start hitting this core. He's hitting for so much every swing. Yeah. Okay. So just based on your playstyle, a couple things that I would potentially look at. One, hold your ground. Just dump Eternal Retaliation for now. I'll exit and go into try mode and showcase some Eternal Retaliation for a second. You may look at Zealous Glare into Laws of Hope, but you don't really need Blessed Momentum and Eternal Retaliation as much. But if you had Blessed Momentum without Eternal Retaliation, you still get some of the benefit. Or if you had Holy Renewal with Zealous Glare, that's some win too. But good news is you won. We're going to look at a couple stats here. You died the least on your team. Both of you tied with Vermouth, the Rhaegar. So it sounds silly, but not dying is winning. There are very few games where if you have 0 deaths that you'll lose the game. It is possible. I've definitely beat teams with Juice Pirates and they had 0 deaths, but it's highly unlikely. And so strictly by the fact that this Asmo died 9 times, that gave you a huge advantage. Okay, I was making sure they didn't put Tassadar in MVP just because of his damage, because he died a lot for your team. Oh yeah. Again, like I said, even if you had lost this game, like it wasn't that you guys were playing poor into the Li Ming. It would have been that the Li Ming was just playing really well. And yeah, full orb build, she was just dumping on you guys. The nice thing about orb build is that it doesn't give her diamond skin, it doesn't give her illusionist, it doesn't give her ether walker, and it actually reduces her health pool. Butcher should have been all over this Li Ming. Like Butcher should have ended the game with 500 meat. He should have just destroyed this Ming. Um, so Butcher, right here, there's a talent that Butcher has here at 7 that gives him spell armor while he's charging, so Ming can literally not kill him. And if she blinks too soon, he will still chase her, catch her, and stun her. And so between um, it's the one with Butcher's face on it. I don't know what the talent's called, but between that talent and Lamb to the Slaughter, he should have just free farmed Li Ming because the Brightwing can't polymorph him. He can drop the Lamb to the Slaughter before Reckless Intent is what Caledorn is saying. He thinks that talent's called, and so he should have just eaten her for breakfast, lunch, and dinner type of thing. She should not have been alive this game. But she only died once. She really wasn't punished, and she just orbed you guys all day. Yeah. Or you just run at Ming full mounted and stun after the blink. Absolutely. The They didn't have the tools to stop your team from just going aggro at them. Um, but given your playstyle, I would say take a look at Zealous Glare. It's the most busted level 1 right now, and it pairs so nicely with Holy Renewal, and I'll show you that in try mode as well. And then at level 4, I would say pick up Hold Your Ground. Subdue is a great talent. I definitely say work on that one because I personally think it's the most powerful level 4 right now. Um, but you'll get instant value with Hold Your Ground. Period. End of story. Instant value. And we'll exit and show you Eternal Retaliation as well. Um, but other than that, like I I like Holy Fury. It's actually the weakest talent in level 13, but it fulfills my fantasy requirement of being a zealous crusader that lights themselves on fire and runs at their enemies. And so I like it. And that's good enough reason to play any talent, in my opinion, even if it's the weakest talent on the tier. Because if you like something and you're laughing and having fun, you'll do better. And then if you get really good with Zealous Glare at 1, Holy Renewal combined with Zealous Glare is fantastic. It has great synergy with Blessed Hammer here. If you're ever taking Blessed Shield and Blinded by the Light, Holy Renewal and Zealous Glare do really well with that as well. But you guys did a good job of not dying. You did a good job of taking big team fight wins. Now we want to take little team fight wins and get an advantage as well. That's going to lead to a lot of victories. But you took big team fight wins and pushed with them. And you kept them off your core even when it looked a little scary. So, all right, we're going to quit here.
I think they could have pushed the core in one, but they kind of like went at it a little weird.
I get it, but I I do think you could have defended. It wouldn't have been like a, oh, our core took no damage type of defense, but the Dragonshire core is one of the most brutal cores to go up against if you don't have two keeps down because the surface area is just so minimal and the stun's so punishing. Oh, that's true. I can't go here. Heroes, tanks, Joe, try mode. So Johanna being 4,000 gold is mildly offensive to me. I bought her on day 1 for 15,000 gold. And this was before I owned every hero. I was just so excited to play the Crusader from Diablo 3. Okay. Oh, I am going to need minions, but I don't need a Malfurion right now. and I don't need an Arthas.
The first hero I bought was Butcher.
And so long as you take Slaughterhouse and wreck people, I'm totally cool with that.
I wish he was better. I think they should make him a tank.
I actually think he's more just underrated. Okay, we're gonna toggle minions for a second. Okay, so to show you Eternal Retaliation first off. So 10-second cooldown, 50 mana, right? Bing, 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 bing. My mana bar's full, and I still had more to go. Now, it's fine for an offlane Joe. It's not that you need the clear, it's just that it keeps your mana bar full forever. And you can report to fights, and the only ability you've used to clear waves is Condemn, and it's back up and your mana bar's full. So we come up here, we scoop them, whack, whack, whack. Now, if you wanted to actually, and I'll show you this next, if you want to improve the health of your minion wave, you're actually going to do it different than what I just showed you. So I attacked the front minions first because they do a lot of health, but we're going to scoop it, and we're going to remove the archer minions. Because these front minions have done so little damage to our wave that now our wave's going to go up and get chip damage. So that's Eternal Retaliation in a nutshell. Alright, we're going to reset some talents. Alright, so here, so 12-second cooldown, you'll see we don't have cooldowns toggled off. We are going to be able to get on 4 enemies a full reset. So we're going to scoop these first. Full reset. I could do this all day. I suppose I should have waited for me to start with no cooldown. 1, 2, 3. So we get so much reset off of that we can just continually proc Holy Renewal. Well, Holy Renewal gives us a 5% maximum health buff. And so really we wouldn't just be spamming it in a team fight. We would scoop, we'd come back, we'd blind, we'd wait for the blinds to wear off, we'd hit them again, we'd wait for the blinds to wear off, we'd hit them again, and we essentially are just spamming this. And every time, so we'll come out here. We're just reducing our health here for a moment. Okay, so here we are. We're at 600, 300 health. We're going to scoop these. We're just getting these chunky heals. And so it's a ton of healing that really Laws of Hope has trouble keeping up with. But I still think Laws of Hope is a fine choice, and I've run it plenty.
What do you think about Divine Fortress into like Greymane?
I think Divine Fortress into Greymane is garbage.
Okay.
I like what they're doing with Divine Fortress, and it will eventually get there. But the damage boost here is just crazy. So you can see I'm hitting for 291 on that. Reset talents, 129. Yeah, they are in fact anagrams of each other, but that 125% damage boost means that this is a pretty serious talent to be reckoned with. So at level 20, if we had full stacks, we're going to click it. We're at 5757. We gained 1150 in health, right? Certainly a decent number, and the armor is great. And so I do very much like that. You'll see me here. Go away, minions. We're going to walk past these. And so I can outpace the armor that the fort reduces. And it's going to take quite a long time for the fort to kill me here at level 20. Not endless amount of time, but a fair amount of time. And so this is a long portion that I can just be sitting there and tanking for my team. And so it's definitely great in that regard. But against Greymane, having 2 blinds is going to be of larger impact to your team. Because this is 40 armor, so it reduces Greymane's auto attack damage, because it's physical armor, by 40%. Being blinded reduces that same auto attack damage by 100%. This 40 armor only affects you. This blind can save anybody from a Greymane. And so if Greymane comes in and unleashes his full combo and is now chasing someone down with movement speed, you can blind him for a total of 3 seconds, making it very hard for him to keep up his inner beast and allowing your teammate to potentially survive. So 100% physical armor because Greymane can't deal damage, plus you have a decent sized poke tool with Zealous Glare, because the range on this is dumb. You know, I'm still hitting this and it's beyond my vision, basically, that Zealous Glare goes out. So you can see it actually extends my vision here. And so Zealous Glare is fantastic at the moment. I would recommend it to everyone. But it takes some getting used to. It takes some, okay, I'm going to back up. I'm going to poke with this. I'm going to exit the battle for 2 seconds, and then I'm going to come in and flashlight them again. And so it's extremely frustrating to somebody like a Rainer, a Greymane, an auto attack Vala, a Zul'jin, and I think that Divine Fortress is getting there. I personally think that an easy way to make it a win is up here needs to say basic attacks Johanna gains 10% life. Basic attacks grant 10 physical armor for 4 seconds, stacking up to 50%. Gambit gain an additional 20% bonus life. Every death reduces this bonus by 5%. So she would instantly get 10% health, and I would actually say 10% health and regeneration to match it. If they did that, I would be a very big fan of Divine Fortress. But right now, it's getting there, but it's still got some room to improve. What other talents did we talk about? Hold your ground. It takes this down to a 20-second cooldown. I actually think they need to have the cooldown reduction be 3 or 4 seconds to take it to an 18% cooldown, but maybe that will cause it to be too strong. Subdue. Oh, that's true. We did talk about subdue. We're going to do that real quick. So we scoop everyone. I realize you're not going to complete it every game, but even when I don't complete it, those 2 people are the big 80% slow that no longer decays. So instead of being 60% decaying there over 2 seconds, it's now 80% no decay. And the fact that it doesn't decay essentially turns it into a root for Joe. And so you just come up, boom, you still get value even without completing the quest. Completing the quest always feels great. There are times that I will die to complete the quest early in the game because early game deaths mean so little. You know, if I'm level 5 and I die, my death timer is going to be so minimal. Towers hurt a lot more at this level. Oh, that's not right. Dang it. Tri-mode's lying to me. Yeah, this is actually my favorite build. We'll see if it actually increases the death timer in try mode. I'm guessing it's still the 5 seconds. Yeah, that's just try mode forgiveness. But a death at level 5 to level 10, maybe not level 10, level 5 to level 8, not that big of a deal. But completing that quest to where now, even if I hit one person, it's the non-decaying slow, that's a big deal. And so I really like that. So see how the slow icon actually reduces until it goes away, and then if we complete the quest, just stays nice and big and in their face until it disappears. There's a lot of neat artwork and such in Heroes, but yeah, this is my absolute favorite build. Is Oh, that's funny. It didn't save them all because the talents moved around, but I've had this one as my favorite for a long time, even back before there was 2 charges on Zealous Glare. I used to take Laws of Hope then because Zealous Glare was here and Conviction was 4 and Subdue was 7. Lots of movement. But here, I'm able to get myself a shield and start blinding people. Oh, I have cooldowns off. Oops. Shield. That's with cooldowns on, and I just got essentially a full reset because if I hit 4, that's 32 seconds of CDR, and so if I could hit 8, my cooldown's back. And so this is one of the best Storm Shield talents in the game, and one of my personal favorites. Now, blinding 4 isn't always reasonable, but blinding 2 or 3 usually is something very reasonable for you. And so in a team fight, blind 2, 20 seconds. Now the team fight may be over, but if they re-engage, I'll have it back. But if I'm able to, in a big team fight, get that full reset, like that's just going to be a massive amount of health for my team, because this is 25% of their maximum health. So for me right now, it adds almost 1500 health. Oh no, actually over 1500, almost 1700 health there, which is just an enormous amount. If you times that by, we'll call it 4, because there's going to be people who aren't as health oriented as your tanky Joe. Now, yes, it does have some synergy with Laws, or no, I didn't mean to take Laws of Hope there, with Divine Fortress, but then you don't get the double blind. So now, toggle cooldowns for a second. You can see it's a huge, meat shield for Butcher, Caledorn just said. Yeah, the Butcher should have just destroyed the Leeming in that game. But so it does synergize with Divine Fortress, but then you don't get the double blind, which the double blind gets you enough cooldown reduction that even though you get 300 more health. Oh, bummer. Little Valk just bumped his elbow and poked it on something. Okay, we'll move into the room a little bit more so you don't poke it. So yeah, the 20% more health, and okay, Caledorn saying it is 50% after the impact, not during the charge, but you're closing the distance on the orb, which reduces its potency, and then she can't kill you on the other side because she doesn't have auto attacks that do enough damage. But any questions? I realize I've fire hosed you for about an hour now with info about Joe, but
Erica, do you have questions?
she fell asleep. I was too boring.
No. Hang on one sec.
Joe has such a satisfying crunch on buildings.
All right. Let's see. Let me try and ask them. Let me think here. How is like Erica's like engaging? Was she like doing that okay?
My favorite engage was when she comboed it with other people's ults. So when you saw that last team fight, so we're down on the camp and we see Butcher charge and she just flies into the air with Heaven's Fury even and just destroyed people. It was beautiful. And so those were my favorite because you just were zapping everybody as Butcher was lambing them. So your team was unstoppable, receiving heals and also dealing damage through Heaven's Fury. You had a couple of engages, so Conviction does give you 20% move speed, but in here, toggle minions, toggle cooldowns, enemy hero, Asmodan. So here he comes, and he cheats. I'm hidden in this bush. They're gonna see me. Oh, that was allied hero. Dang it. The enemy hero's gonna cheat too, though. Alright, so I'm hidden in this bush. He's gonna walk up to me. Come on. Did he go to camp? He did. Oh, he went to siege. So, there were times where you came up and used Condemn. I want you to ride your horse, get on the other side, and then we're just body blocking him because we have 10% move speed. He wasn't checking the bush. He was going to siege. And so that's one thing that as you play tanks more and more, you spend more and more time in bushes and you engage literally by walking up to somebody and using your abilities at the last possible moment, because I want to stop him from being able to get back. Now the bot's dumb. Oh, and I just let him through. Oh, I'm gonna die too. But you'll spend more and more time just sitting in the bush and engaging from that. Overall, I thought you did fine. The fights were a little... I did let him get away. That's how I was gonna die. Oh, he's body blocking me now. Alright, I'll stop playing with the bot. And I'll show this on another one of my favorite tanks. And that is because he's not actually very good at anything but being on a horse to engage.
Garrosh?
Yep. So, Garrosh has limited range, and yes, he has Groundbreaker, which we'll show, but oh, they're gonna have vision in me. Arthas got wrecked, but you have to literally walk up. But yeah, you have to constantly play out of vision on a horse, save your mouth, toss that guy away, and Mouth just comes back in. Come on, Mouth. But you constantly will spend that time in a bush, anchoring, warding, and then once you see them, you wait for them to get too far in, you walk up. With Garrosh, you have the added mini game of waiting for the red to be there. Get out of there, Mouth. So you can see my blue icon, you can see my red icon over my throw target, which can be a little tricky, but... And so because of that, you just get in the habit of, yeah, no cooldowns, Malf, eat it. But you get in that habit of spending more and more time on a horse, which seems odd, but it's very threatening to an enemy team if they don't know where you are. Because if they don't have vision of you, you can just walk out of the gate on a horse and toss them over the wall. You could be hiding in a bush in any lane because they don't know, they haven't seen you for 20 seconds. But you're making it so that your team doesn't get surprised, and instead you get to be the one doing the surprising. That range felt off, but it felt like I was able to pick up Arthas from farther away. But overall, I think Johanna's a fantastic sponge. You're able to just be in front of your allies, and she's got so much in her toolkit that I think that she's valuable in any team. She's also overtuned currently, and so she's something that if your team's not picking up Rhaegar, you should just slam first pick Joe at the moment. But yeah, I thought your engages were fine. The one that I was a little worried about was the time where I said, hey, flashlight this bush. And then the other time where you almost got engaged on and didn't need to was when I wanted you to pick up those 2 globes in the bottom lane and you started to move toward that camp. If there's nothing you can do, there's no reason to be there. Period. End of story. The only thing that may have been accomplished there is that they would have finished capping the camp and then run at you and killed you, which is no good. Hopefully that answered the question, but I feel like I took a really long way to get to it.
I think it's good. I was just curious because she couldn't think of any, she said she needed to process before she asked questions, and I was
yeah,
like,
no
let me
worries.
try and brainstorm something. Yeah, I don't know. I thought that one was pretty good because we were watching it before this, and I thought do we actually win this one? I think we're gonna lose, and then it turned around.
That happens sometimes.
Yeah, at one point we had no buildings.
That's okay. At one point they had no way to kill you, and you ended the game.
You're saying that the Asmodean's deaths were a hindrance to them, but I think his sieging, he took out all of our keeps. So I kind of think he was their MVP.
Yes,
even though he died 9 times.
But he stuck around when he didn't know where you guys were. And so he probably could have got a little bit less value, but not died, and then been able to get greater overall value by just coming back in and hitting the building with even just an orb. So essentially we got to scroll away to get to old Asmodunk. I gotta get started on dinner here soon. So if I remove minions, I'm gonna remove Malf. I'm gonna remove the enemy hero for a second. We're gonna do just level 10.
Choose a talent. Choose a talent. Choose a talent. Choose a talent.
So full fort wall, no damage done to it. All I'm gonna do is drop that. So 4,300 health, 4,353 health. All I did was drop demonic invasion. Now granted that's a 400, I would have liked it to have only given me 200. Oh, my hands were misplaced, excuse me. So at level 10, 400 stacks, I'm hitting for almost 800 health. Oops, wrong button. So now if I came up on a slightly weakened wall, because that one was, they were attacking the gate because I center cast it. So here, it's going to rip down the rest of this. They're going to run at this. They're taking less damage. This is just me doing a hit and run at level 10. And so, yes, it's a long cooldown, but him dying at level 20 and being out of the game for 65 seconds really hurts his team. And so being able to just, he comes in, he drops the orb, maybe an auto attack. So that was just me using Tide of Sin and letting them go. And they just took it down 6,312 health.
Okay, and so another thing I was asking, I think we talked about before, like you were saying, like other good tanks to start with, or like you recommended Varian.
Yes.
Do you think that ETC is a good choice?
ETC's fine. The hard part with ETC is that unlike Joe and Varian, he doesn't have as much health. Like, they are way healthier. And so he's way more susceptible to burst. He's really good into sustain. He has some absolute powerhouse abilities. Power Slide is an ult that you get at level 1, right? And Mosh is huge. Even Stage Dive is huge. I think people underrate Stage Dive. And so he's definitely a good tank, and he teaches a lot of tank basics. He's great with sustain, with guitar solo, and with the armor that he gets off of Rockstar. But because he's weak to poke, or not poke, he's weak to burst, that makes him a little more difficult with beginning tanks, because you naturally take a bit more poke damage, you naturally take a bit more chunk damage, and I do agree with Verd in chat that ETC is a great offlaner as well. He works really well against a Dahaka because he can put Dahaka's dig on cooldown with face melt and then stage dive to the team fight, and Dahaka can't jump in or dig in for 10 seconds.
Yeah, so when Erica's tanking, like that's the plan. Like if Joe gets banned, we're kind of like, oh crap, I guess someone assess the tank. Like she can also play Mal'Ganis, but I feel like he's kind of weak at the moment.
On the contrary, I actually think Mal'Ganis is way stronger than people give him credit for. He is almost to launch status Mal'Ganis, but he is not one that you can just pick up and go. So that's why I say for beginning tanks, I recommend Joe and I recommend Varian, because they teach some very tanking basics. For Varian, he's very durable because of the 40% health and health regeneration that he gets from taunt. So they added 104 health to him, which doesn't seem like a lot. But because of that, by the time he hits level 4, so you can see right here we're at 2300 health. Level 4, we jump to 2598. As soon as we take taunt, 3637. Like, he becomes so beefy. To show just how beefy he gets, we're gonna go to the chunkiest of boys, and that is Stitches. Now, Stitches I don't recommend for a new tank. I definitely think he's powerful, but much like Mal'Ganis, it's something that you're going to have to work on. He works so differently from some of the other tanks, but he's just a good sponge. So, Stitches, level 4, no quests whatsoever. We're at 3141. He has less health than Varian. And so Varian becomes the highest health just baseline tank. Now, yes, Diablo can get more health. Stitches can get more health. But just from a baseline tank health, Varian gets the most. And so because of that and the things that he teaches for tanking, I recommend him to new tanks because while yes, he's very single target, it helps get your team in the mode of, hey, this is about to happen right now. And so you get to level 4 and you just start pinging. Hey, it's time to go taunt somebody.
Choose a talent. Choose a talent.
So you can hit Alt and then click one of your abilities and it'll ping to your team that you're ready. So you're going to charge in, you're going to taunt them. You're going to use Lion's Fang. During that, I suppose I just broke one of my own rules. So as soon as we taunt them, we're going to move to the other side and start body blocking them. And so he teaches that in a very straightforward way. Ooh, oh, Mouth didn't get saved. Dang it. But with that, because of how straightforward and single target he is, he can rally your team by you just saying, hey, this is ready. And you're going to charge in, you're going to taunt, you're going to move to the other side. Arthas can still get away considering his slowing field that he puts out. But Arthas isn't run a whole lot, and Arthas's weakness is mobility. And so if you lock him in place and your team just chunks him down, chances are you're going to win. But I actually really like Arthas into Varian in a lot of cases. But most people just don't pick Arthas, so you're probably safe there. But just getting to the other side of him, even if it's just body blocking as long as possible so that your team can get in and just put hurt into him, that's usually enough. Mal'Ganis is a lot of fun. When Mal'Ganis gets to run wild, like it's just a pub stomp, it's crazy. Oh, you know what? I may have been... I don't know if this video on Twitch... Oh no, it has to have, because I've had people responding to it. I was going to say my... It's because I'm on disabled performance. I was going to say all of my audio level things aren't showing me reading, but that's because I'm on disabled performance or I'm on performance mode for that. Yeah, quit yelling at me, Varian. But that's why I recommend those two for starting. You can see I really like tanks. I mean, my top, let's see, 5, my top 10 are all tanks. It's not until 11 that you get to a non-tank.
Why is your Samurai only level 3? What's going on here?
So what's funny is I don't actually know how either of these characters have leveled.
Aram probably?
So you go into roster. We're going to click on Orphea. No games.
Wait, you didn't check Aram. Oh, what?
So the only way I can think of is that back before Aram was called Aram, there was a mode called Brawl.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And so those are the only times that I can think of that these would have leveled. I'm going to guess these are all AI. Yeah, all 4 are AI games. I hate this hero. I think he's dumb. So, but I literally did a video about Hogger the day he came out on the PTR, and I have now played him twice. Okay, they weren't ARAMs. I think they were quick matches. Yeah, I've played him twice in quick match. And I was stoked for this hero to come out. I just don't play bruisers that much. Unless they can double as a tank, I don't really play them a lot. So, I mean, you can see on my bruisers, doubles as a tank. I use him to double soak a lot. Doubles as a tank. I used to play Thrall a lot more. My son loves to play Deathwing in AI, and so he plays Deathwing all the time. I think my win rate is probably awful. Let's see. I gotta click this right. Oh, not bad. Hey, we're winning in AI, but 33 AI games.
Nice.
So 33 out of 52. So the majority of my Deathwing games are my son playing AI Deathwing, which is cool. I don't mind. So I'd much rather him play Deathwing in AI than Deathwing in Storm League, you know?
Yeah. Alright, cool. Well, I'll probably, like, she might think of, like, some questions later. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah,
Get a
and
little
and feel
aggressive
free to
with stuff.
ping me in Discord.
Alright.
So I am going to go work on not Discord, on dinner. But yeah, I'll get this transferred over to YouTube so you guys can have it there as well. And then I might be playing tonight. I don't actually know, but for now it is 5:30 here in the glorious Rocky Mountains, and that means it's time to make some dinner.
Alrighty.
So,
Sorry for creeping. I was just listening to the advice.
nope. If it wasn't open for folks to check out, we wouldn't be broadcasting to Twitch, and we would be in a private Discord channel. So you're welcome to. So, all right. But yes, did I end the stream? Okay, now I'm